Welcome back, good folks, to the locker room. There's a lot of joy in the house tonight. Before we press on, introduce our special guest and my beautiful, beautiful co-host, Dougie Hodgson. Let me just mention quickly the Facebook page, the Locker Room Facebook page. There's been lots going through the Facebook page in recent weeks. Access that, all the issues that you want to talk about, Venture Spleen, fantastic stuff. Thanks to all our sponsors, and of course we're in a new venue tonight, a new old venue from one of our previous seasons, back at the Casa del Sweetie, so we thank them for their hospitality. I'm about to erupt into that camera, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to erupt with joy because our special guest is a very, very special man whom I've not seen for probably a quarter of a century, and he hasn't changed a bit. His name is Gus Macleod. Gus, welcome to the Locker Room.
Pleasure to be here.
How are you, my friend? Look, we're losing our props. And of course, my extraordinary co-host, Doug Hodgson, is with me as well. And you can see that we reek of professionalism as always. It's such it's fantastic.
What about the present that Gus has brought you though, son?
Which is brilliant. We've never been gifted by anyone before, and Gus, whom we will contextualise in a minute, we'll tell you all about Gus's career if you don't remember him. If you don't remember him, you didn't live through the 80s in Australian soccer. But Gus, for bringing presents, we're going to be extra nice. But look, when I was thinking today about, and it takes a bit of thinking when you're my age, you know, doing that recollection stuff. And
don't be hard on yourself, you too.
And you kind of reflect back, and I on the way over to do the shoot, I often try and think, what do I remember most about that person? And I remember you as both as a player, but not on the field so much as off the field, and as a coach, as being one of the most pleasant, happy people that I came across. You always had a kind word, you always were amenable to the media, etc. And I'll always remember you very fondly for that.
Well, I think it's very important in life that you like to be treated, you know, or treat people the way you like to be treated. And for me, it's just a part-time football. You've got to enjoy it. There's more important things in life, more serious things in life. But when you get wrapped up in the game and you meet lovely people like yourself, Greg, it's an enjoyment.
See, and that's the thing that Dougie Hodgson probably would never really appreciate, being as well liked and as admired as you and I.
Well, I'd like to know though, Blakey, I've heard him in the changing rooms. I've actually played alongside Gus. That little era there of politeness and airiness and just calmness, I've only never seen that quite often in Gus.
Yeah, but you know yourself, Doug, you have your moments. As soon as that white line fever hits you, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
We're going to draw you a little bit on your journey, but certainly you came to Australia in around about 1980, as I recall. Coming from, and bear in mind, you put on your shock faces at home, he's actually from Scotland.
But I'm an Aussie.
Of course you are. Yeah. Of course you are. I'm always intrigued by, because at that point in time in the game in this country, there are a lot of players coming from Great Britain to play in the local leagues here. What was the motivation for you to make that really huge step?
Probably was the persistence of Bobby McLaughlin, who was the team manager of Green Gully at the time.
Another great man.
And he sent me a contract, and I had quite a good life in Glasgow, you know, and so a good group of friends, and was earning good money. So there was no real need for me to come. And my brother was here, Frank, and he said, look, get yourself out, at least come for one season, see how you like it. If you don't like it, you can go back again. And as you know, we went to Green Gully and we settled down with a fantastic side. But when we trained there and the planes were going over, because it's next to Tullamarine Airport, I used to hope that I would be on the next plane. And I couldn't settle. And it took me to go back that year to realise what Australia was about, the friends I met through soccer, and Bobby sent me another contract and I come back and I've never been back since.
Gus Macleod's our special guest tonight. Sorry, Dougie, I was just talking over you a bit because quite often you're not even relevant. And I say that with all due respect, which is, I don't respect you any less than I did yesterday.
That's all right, a lot of love.
Gus, we want to draw you on the journey after you decided that you were going to settle here. But I know, Dougie, it was really, really fascinating before. You're on the Locker Room, by the way, Gus Macleod, Doug Hodgson, Greg Blake. It's a very special evening. It's an evening of niceness and calmness and a whole lot of love for Gus Macleod. We're going to draw you on that, but I was fascinated to hear you two talking before about your career prior to coming here. Dougie, I know you were really drawn by the significant amount of experience that Gus brought with him.
Well, like Gus, for viewers that are out there that are unaware of your background, obviously, but can you just tell the guys where it all began to get to Australia? Because you've had several clubs.
Yeah, I was a late developer, as they say, and my mate of mine said, "Do you want to play a bit of football?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." Then I was 19 at the time, and I was with Glasgow Perthshire, which is what they call a junior side, like the Conference League in England, and we played on Black Ash. That was our park, and I rattled in 30
Sounds like a
goals.
Monty Python sketch.
Black ash. I used to see the showers too, a bit of copper pipe with holes in them, and that was it. And I'll tell you a funny story. We played against a team called Sunnybank from Aberdeen, and they come off the bus and they walked up and they had the boots, big farmer boys, and they had the boots tied around the neck, and they said, "It's not a bad training park, where are you going to be playing?" I said, "You're playing out there." So we walloped them 6-0, they had studs on them that size. But the best laugh was, someday, there's a lot of nasty people up that way in Springburn and Postle Park, and they broke into the dressing rooms and stole all their clothes. So they had to go home in the bus, black, and
All covered in black.
So we beat them 6-0, it was a good thing. But that was where I started it, and then I was spotted by a guy called Tommy Fagan, who was an old SFA man and a lovely chap. And he said, "Would you like to come and play professional football with Albion Rovers, Coatbridge?" And I said, "Yeah, fair enough." And when we started, the first game that I played in was against Glasgow Rangers.
Well, actually, the rumour has that though. How long were you on the pitch?
About 30 minutes, and their goalkeeper, Jerry Neef, German boy, he decided that he was going to have a smack at me, so I smacked him, and the twos get sent off. And the biggest picture in my mind was my father and all his mates standing at the side, who are all mad Rangers supporters, like myself. And I got a verbal abuse that night, I can assure you.
And one of the look, I reflect this every time we record the locker room. You get these lovely people that you've known for such a significant amount, and they've got so many lovely stories. You just wish you had more time. We have to take a break on the locker room. Don't worry about Lang Warren, we'll talk about that a little bit later. He's been coaching there for 16 years, which I'm pretty sure is some sort of world record, which is fantastic. We'll be back after the break from Casa del Sweetie. You are watching The Locker Room. Welcome back to The Locker Room, a special show of joy, love and history with our special guest Gus Macleod. Here's my gift. This is Lang Warren Soccer Club, gave me this as a present and I'm very grateful. So it's GB number 10. I'm not fit to wear one of these tops, I must just mention.
If you get fit, you can turn up with training on Tuesday night and I'll
just be grateful to get out of bed tomorrow. We've got a lot to plough through, Dougie. We were talking, of course, about the 30 minutes on the pitch, which is a very special story in itself. But then again, it go from there. That you played for several clubs.
Yeah, we ended up going from there to St Mirren, which was a very enjoyable couple of years, and finished top goal scorer there, and played with some very good players there. Gordon McQueen.
Legend of the game.
Yeah, brilliant. Big Gogo was a term. I was there when they get transferred to Leeds. We were down on pre-season tour and we were playing Norwich, and we were sitting in a hotel, and all of a sudden the directors were all sitting there, and we come in after a few drinks, and as you do after the game, and the director said, "We had a bid for Leeds from Leeds, but we're not accepting it." So the big fella went and berserk. I think they offered about 60,000 or something at that time, and the manager said to me, "Gus, get him to his bed." So I had to escort Gogo up the room and get him into his bed. But the next day he was sorted, and away he went. And his replacement was a guy called Ian Muir, who played at a very high standard. But the biggest story, Dougie, I need to tell you about it. We were sitting having breakfast, and all of a sudden Ian Muir comes in. He's a big man, and he's a big professional, top stuff. And he come in, and we were all sitting having breakfast, and he said, "Right, who's the funny man?" And we were all sitting there wondering what the story was. And somebody had let his tyres down in his car.
Welcome, mate. Welcome to the club.
And everybody busted out laughing. So he busted out laughing. So that was him, one of the boys then. So for St Mirren, I ended up going to Hamilton Accies.
Now, was that where the transfer fee was?
Yeah, it was about 11,000. Yeah,
£11,000 back, and that was when?
That was what, 74, 75.
So not a bad wedge to get put in.
I'd done okay myself, so it wasn't too bad. And then from Hamiltonacky's Berwick Rangers, which was, a great club, great people, and then from there I just went back to the Conference League, and then I got the contract from Bobby McLaughlin.
And this is where I suppose it all took over, Gus. I suppose for your career, for the Australian viewers, I suppose you came, you went to Green Gully, played at Green Gully, had some success.
Great success, yeah.
And then playing there, how many years did you end up?
2 years I was there, 81 and 82, where we won every trophy, and Bobby was a very, very smart manager, and he pulled together a lot of good players. But the real architect of the whole thing was a guy, John Gardner. He was superb.
Very high,
he was excellent. And then Len McHenry followed after him.
Where's
Len McHenry?
Where is he?
Look, again, we're just putting it out there on the radar.
Trying to find Lenny.
For 3 long, arduous years, Len McHenry has been a complete mystery to us. If you know where he is and how we can access him, please let us know on the Facebook
Blakey,
page.
the rumours out, Sweetie seems to think he's given us a nod. He may have found him.
He may have found Len McHenry, which would be just something of a minor miracle, but
he was one of the best, Greg.
One of the greats.
He was what we called the professor, and John was the teacher. They were brilliant coaches. Before their time, they were before their time.
And that's what always fascinated me about McHenry was that there was very rarely a player that played under him that didn't have he had almost a mystical quality.
Correct.
What was he doing to so buy players into something that was, it appeared at the time to be quite unique?
He had a system, and the system worked. And if everybody worked to his system, they enjoyed it. It was. A lot of people said he was boring, but he won so many games.
Yeah.
The strikers, Dougie Brown and Charlie Egan, they scored about 100 goals between them. So there was. It was a system, and he had it perfect. And a few players, John Eisendorn played with him, and Davidson. There was a real good nucleus of players there.
I've never heard bad people talk about Lenny and Gardner. They've all been positive with the coaching.
I think there was a lot of jealousy involved for the coaching side, because he was a bit aloof, and but that was him. But John Gardner was one of the smart ones too.
So you went from there after 2 years, and you went to Faulkner. You've rolled up.
No, I went to Footscray just in the National League.
Now, for people that don't know, Gus Macleod is lethal in the box. Putting up rows like a salmon.
Only with my head.
Only with your head in the box. Did you score many goals, Gus?
Yeah, I've done okay at Footscray, but it was they were going through a bad time, and I think the club folded a couple of years after that. But the wee guy who took over from Bobby, Sekularic.
Yes.
What a player, and what a guy, and
coach me at Heidelberg.
And he was, and those Yugoslav boys, if the coach would have asked him to jump over the building, they would have went, no problems. They idolised the guy, but we see him in training, he was still brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He was a good lad. And from there, then I decided to hang up my boots at 33 and played socially down the league.
33, went to Faulkner, Doherty Cup, won it.
Yeah.
What a year?
Yeah, the guy Greg Scapano, Scapano Furnishing, you remember him, Greg?
Yes, I do indeed.
Lovely gentleman.
He's a chemist, wasn't he?
No, that was the next president.
That was the next president.
Yeah. Greg asked me if I'd like to get into the coaching, so done well and thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a great journey even now.
And then from Faulkner, tell the viewers from there, the locker room viewers, Gus, the pathway to where you are now.
Well, we had to set what we called senior licence. There was a junior licence, youth licence, senior licence, and to go to get your senior licence, you had to go to Canberra. But that was a time when Rothman sponsored everything. Yep. You had to take a week off work, no pay. So that was first year. Second year, week off work again, same again, and the wife said, "Who's paying for us?" So that's where you got your qualifications and you update them every now and again here. So it's it's going well.
Special guest tonight on The Locker Room is Gus Macleod, a beautiful, beautiful man with a very rich history here in Australian football, Australian soccer. Dougie Hodgson, my co-host. Don't forget the Facebook page. We'll be back to talk about your very lengthy coaching career in the local ranks, and also the very special questions where we load up and find out your best and worst moments of all time. Stay with us on The Locker Room. Welcome back to The Locker Room. Once again, the show is ebbing away more quickly than we would wish. Gus Macleod, our special guest, Dougie Hodgson, of course, joining us. Let's Benjamin Button this last segment and just talk quickly, because sometimes it fascinates me to find out the journey. I mean, we know where Dougie is now in life after so many years of not seeing each other, and you and I have not seen each other for a quarter of a century. Where's life led you now?
Well, that's the beauty about coming to Australia. It's given us the opportunity to start my own business, Macleod Property Group, and I consult for a company, Premier Builders Group, which Doug's got a shirt there, and you know the owner.
Greg Kilner.
Yeah,
good old Greg, he's a lovely man, very good man.
A big sponsor of Langwarren, and
been good for the Moyne Peninsula area, Greg has.
We've got a decent plug in there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
but you've obviously made every stepping stone of success in the country. You had that career at Springvale City in the old State League days.
There was Vinnie Grella was probably the highlight of Springvale City, being able to touch him. He was special. 15 years of age, come into training, and all of a sudden the senior players went, "Oh, who's this boy?" And certainly he was with the VIS. Only touched him. I wasn't.
I read an article that he nearly vomited after his first training session.
First training session, but no,
quite hard.
Vinnie was very, very special, and it was funny. In his contract, if he got transferred, Springvale City would get some money, so they get $60,000. But then again, another what were they called? Bosnian club, Springvale.
Springvale White Eagles.
Well, no, the Bosnian side. They took over. They get another 60,000, so they got 120,000 for Vinnie, and probably the other little snippet is probably Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, and let's be fair, Jones, he ended up, he went to Man, Gus, quickly if you can, Man U. Picked the phone. How did he get to Man U?
Well, Ferguson, because we were.
Can you just put that into
Sir Alec?
Ferguson?
He was a friend back in Glasgow. Not a massive personal friend, but he was a good friend, and we used to have a couple of drinks together. And he took him down in trial, and all of a sudden he said, "Nah, he's as good as my fourth best goalkeeper." So I said, "Fine." He said, "Look, tell me to drop down the leagues." But what happened was he got homesick and he came back home. Then he signed by Hellas, so he signed and ended up playing the World Championships against Man United, and drew nothing each. He had a great game, and Ferguson.
Bailey Wright.
Yeah, Bailey Wright. He's now at Preston. He had a few games in the first team, and he's a lovely boy, and I hope he makes it.
So 16 years, guys. You hear me right? 16 years at one club. 354 games, 75% of winning, which is not a bad record.
And we're talking about Langwarren.
Langwarren Soccer Club.
And you live in Langwarren as well.
Yes, that's correct.
So clearly you're a fairly patriotic
What
Langwarrian.
like to be at a club though, Blakey, for 16 years? That's, let's be fair, you're lucky to be there 16 weeks these days at some of the clubs. But 16 years, what motivates you still now, Gus?
Still, it's to make sure that Langwarren get as far up the leagues as they can, and obviously the next aim for the club is NPL 1, and hopefully going to NPL. And it's not a short-sighted thing, it's something that we tick a lot of the boxes for, and if we win the league this year, then we've got a good chance of getting in, and if not, we'll apply for the following year. But the young boys and the juniors and everything we've got coming through, it's going
Talking about coming through, how many did you have through the junior ranks? Was it last season? How many?
450 juniors.
But how many players into the seniors from the juniors?
Well, we had
five?
three actual players who have played since they were under 5. So there's not many clubs can boast it, but at the same time, that's the balance, and that's a good thing about Langwarren.
And we wish you the best of luck, and Langwarren on that journey with those aspirations. Let's hit you with the big questions now, and these are the important ones. First of all, we try to have this discussion with learned people such as yourself that have been around the trap through a long time. You and I discussed the old days, and we are old, and you can all get stuffed because we don't care.
I'm not.
But your thoughts on the A-League and the comparisons to the old days, and the kind of disengagement that the A-League has with the Langwarrens of the world. Where do you sit?
Well, to be honest, I think we needed an A-League, and the crowds that are supporting victory, like last Saturday there against Melbourne City.
Fantastic for the
40,000. I mean, there's so many clubs in England and Europe would love to have 40,000 people, but I think they've been quite smart capturing that audience, because there's a lot of young supporters there, and they're going to have it for a while. But I don't go. I'd rather watch it on the television in peace in my living room and enjoy the games. But I've got to be very, very honest and say the old National League, some of the players, I think would outshine a lot of the boys that are playing in the A-League at the moment. I know they get very well paid, but at the same time, I think there's some players back in the days when I played. But I look at the guys like Barbarossa and Berisha and quality players. Yes.
Some character, like we're going back to characters, I suppose, Blakey.
You know, absolutely characters. You know how this is going to impact on your life, though, don't you? Because there are constant debates on our locker room Facebook page about this very issue. Once this goes to air, you're either going to be a hero or a demon to some people. You know, you're the stupid old goat who lives in the past like me, or I don't know what the converse
market
is.
as well, and they're professional.
Yes.
Back then you were professional, you trained 3 nights a week. Imagine if them sort of characteristics of players had that environment now. It'd be magnificent. The game
would be magnificent.
So
let's go through the
big hitters.
The important questions. Best player you played against, career-wise, you have a choice now.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson?
From Celtic.
Yep.
He was unbelievable. You went on the park and he memorised every, he was brilliant. You just looked at him and the game just passed you by. He was fantastic.
And the hardest player, and you were fairly rigorous yourself.
Ian Dobson.
Ian Dobson?
Yeah,
That's
double.
He was a centre half left back, wasn't he?
You always knew you were in a game when you played against him.
And this is killing me. This is the interesting stuff. This is the gold, people at home. And I've just been told we were really running down on time. So just a very quick one. This is the hardest thing I've ever going to make you do. In 20 seconds, if you could have one moment back in your career, if you could relive that very second, what would it be?
I should have took the contract in 1976 to come here with Juventus when Bobby had Juventus. And I would have been here 4 or 5 years earlier.
Well, the good thing about it, Blakey, he didn't bring up when he nutmegged me. Yes. So it could have been the other way.
Can I tell you a quick story? Very quick story.
I'm not sure. I'm probably going to get into trouble.
What we got?
I coached against Dougie. He had Preston, we had Springvale City. I had Springvale City. He came up to me before the game. I said, "How's it going, Dougie?" And he said, "Yeah, everything's going fine. You want to see my third man running?" He said. I said, "I can't get my first man to run." So we beat them anyway. So it was easy.
We are running out of time. I'm so sorry. Our very, very special thanks to our special guest tonight, Gus Macleod, my co-host, Dougie Hodgson. It's been a great night. It's terrific to be back on the locker room. Check out the Facebook page. Have a great week at home. See you soon.